Welcome to Secrets Out Idaho. Each week, we let you in on the secrets of Southern Idaho and speak to the people who make it such a unique hidden gem. I'm your host, Connie Stouffer. On today's episode, we'll be talking to U.S. Navy veteran Ashley Taylor on what it's been like to transition from military life to student life as she pursues a degree in nursing at the College of Southern Idaho. Ashley, thank you for joining us on Secrets Out Idaho.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So why don't you start just by telling me a little bit about yourself?
So I am 26 years old, and we just moved here to the area about almost a year and a half ago. I have a husband and a 2.5-year-old little girl, and I'm a full-time nursing student and full-time veterans center and
Full-time mom
and full-time work, full-time everything.
So you're pretty busy.
Yeah.
So what brought you here a year and a half ago?
So my husband is originally from Boise, and he was also in the military. And so when we got out of the military, it was just whoever could get a job first got to decide where we lived. So he applied for Idaho State Police because he was a military police in the military, and he got accepted at ISP, and he got to pick his top 3 districts, and this was one of the districts that they chose for him. So Magic Valley became our new home.
That's awesome. So what made him choose this area as one of his top 3 picks?
So he has family in Boise and here in the Jerome area. A lot of his uncles and cousins lived here. So he kind of grew up in this area and loved just a lot of the outdoor stuff. So that's why he chose Boise and then this district.
Great. And what did you do in the military?
I was a corpsman, so medical as well.
So for those of us who don't have all the military lingo, tell me more about what a corpsman is.
So a corpsman is basically a nurse on the civilian side. We're allowed to do a lot of things that a normal nurse would do. So we're able to assess a patient. If you're a corpsman, you're able to basically be the doctor for active duty. So you would actually assess the patient, give them prescriptions, diagnosis, and then just have your doctor sign off on your notes. So that's kind of what a corpsman is. And
did you get to serve in lots of interesting places around the world?
So not a ton of interesting places. I guess interesting to me because I never left Texas before going to the military, but I was at the Wounded Warrior Hospital, Walter Reed National Military Medical Center, and then I moved to Bremerton and worked at the Naval Hospital there at Bremerton.
And so got to go to a few other places, but other than that, mostly Texas and then now Idaho. Had you been to Idaho before you got here, or was it a first time your husband found a job and now you're going to Idaho?
I had been to the Boise area a few times after we got married, but never long enough to explore. We were always here just vacation away from our current home, so we'd come to Boise just to visit family, so I didn't get to see a ton of what was around.
So did you have any preconceived notions about what the Magic Valley was going to be like or what you were coming into? And tell me about that whole transition of now you're moving to a new place you hadn't been before.
So my husband's cousins just told me that it was deserty and full of cows. So my idea,
awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I was thinking. I was like, oh, there's not going to be anything to do, and it's going to smell like cows everywhere. So that was my idea when I first moved here, but I didn't really know what I was getting into.
And then tell me about after you got here and you got settled, did you find that met your expectation, or was it different than what the picture was in your head?
So it definitely smells like cows, especially in Jerome. It's a bit windy and you just smell cows, which I've gotten used to. I didn't think I was going to, but I've definitely gotten used to the smell. But I didn't think that there would be a lot to do. And I don't think that I would have found those things unless I was at CSI with the outdoor recreation. So I learned that there's a ton of things to do outdoors, which just matches my personality. And I love just finding new things to do outside.
Awesome. And so being involved at CSI, that kind of leads me to your transition. So you were a corpsman, so you had a lot of that nursing background already, and now you're going to nursing school. Tell me about your experience going to CSI.
So far, it's been a great experience. I finished a couple of my prerequisites and all of my co-requisites at CSI for the nursing program, and so I've been a little bit bored in the nursing program because it's just...
You already have all that background,
yeah,
right?
So it's been a little bit boring, but I'm going to start my bachelor's at BSU while I'm going to CSI, so I foresee a lot of more challenging things to come.
I'm sure. And tell me about your experience, and I know you've been really involved with the veteran population on campus too.
So when I first came to CSI, there was no veterans anything to be seen, so it was a little bit confusing starting at CSI. I expressed those concerns with a few people at CSI, and a little over a semester later, they started looking into hiring a veterans coordinator that was a veteran themselves that would be able to help facilitate the process of just starting CSI and then help make sure that those veterans become successful while they're going to school. I think it's been a rewarding experience because I don't think a lot of people understand that transitioning out of the military, whether you saw a war or not, it's still a huge change. You go from structured to no structured, so it helps to have somebody there and helps to have a veteran center where you can come and hang out with like-minded people and feel like you're back at home again.
That's awesome, and so great that CSI listened to your concern and then immediately took action and started implementing something so quick. You don't always see that in higher education.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's fantastic. And so we do outreach to veterans as well, but it's to connect them to jobs. And sometimes before there's a job that they're looking for, there's some education that they're going to go to, or whether it be an apprenticeship or a traditional college experience. Having made that transition through military into the higher ed experience, do you have any suggestions or tips that you would provide to somebody who's about to go through that as a service member?
I would make sure that you're really paying attention to your joint service transcript and really understanding what the college will accept for your credits, and making sure that you are talking to the right person at CSI so they can help advocate and fight for your credits that you should have earned while you were in the service, which should just expedite your process of graduating CSI with an associate's degree a little bit faster than a traditional student.
Mm-hmm. And that's great that CSI has that now, whereas I know other universities may have a veterans advocate coordinator, but not all centers for higher education have that person. So it's so nice that CSI has that person, and your group now that you guys are doing to kind of be that welcome group, I guess, for veterans as they're starting their educational pursuits.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So when you're not going to nursing school and being a mom and working, what do you like to do?
So most of it's been during the summer because I'm still new to the winter stuff. But
being from Texas, right?
Yeah. I've definitely when I lived in Maryland, I definitely got a little bit of the snow and a little bit of ice when I lived in Washington State, but never any recreational activities outside during it because it's way too cold. But during the summer, I learned to paddleboard and kayak. I really want to go whitewater rafting because I think that's going to be way different than what it is in Texas.
Right.
Cold water versus really warm water.
Get your adrenaline going.
Yeah, exactly. So I've really enjoyed the summer. We've gone to a couple of comedy shows and just finding things out in town. ISP has a group of wives that get together, and that's been really welcoming for me as well. I think that's kind of my base group, is that they made me feel at home, and they actively tried to get us involved in doing things that are outside of our home.
Right. So you found a little bit of a community. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And is your husband enjoying his new job?
Oh, he loves it. Yeah. Most days he loves it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure being a police officer, there's ups and downs, but yeah, that's fantastic. And your little girl, is there anything that you guys have found that you really enjoy getting out and doing with her?
So that's the one part that I wish I could find more, is just things to do in the community with her. Living in Washington State, I felt like there was a lot of, child activities, but I'm starting to see as the winter is coming, there's more things, but during the summer I didn't really see a ton of it, but yeah, I think it's a growing idea. I
think so too. I think they're starting to see some more, and it's hard when they're really little. I have a 1.5-year-old, and so it's hard. You're what do we do in the cold and it's outside? But they just have I don't know if you guys saw the ice skating rink downtown, and so your little one might be getting just about the right size to try ice skating and the splash pad and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I think they're starting to see the value in having something for moms and little kids to be able to connect, but so I think they're starting to work on it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I'm, as a new transplant myself, I've been excited about seeing all those new changes too, especially with the little one getting cabin fevery, and we need to find something to go to.
Yes.
And I like that they have the bubble on the pool so that you can go in the wintertime. I don't know if you guys have checked that out. It's in Twin Falls. So the pool is an outdoor pool in the summertime, but in the wintertime they put a bubble over it. So it's indoors. So we went on Sunday, and you went in and it's all warm and steamy in there, and you're ooh.
It's like a sauna.
A little bit, yeah. And I was this is definitely nice. I was kind of regretting not checking it out sooner because it was a warm little retreat. So that might be something for you guys to go do together. So as a veteran, if you were kind of trying to sell Southern Idaho, or if you were talking to someone who like didn't know where they wanted to go, they're finishing up their service and they could go back home, or maybe they could go somewhere new and different, why would this be a place that you think a service member might consider as they exit the military?
I feel like the Magic Valley is right in the middle of all things that are great. There's so much to do outdoors during the summer. And then I feel like during the winter, you're like 30 minutes or an hour drive away from something fun that with snow. So skiing and snowboarding and traveling and just seeing all these historical sites. I just feel like you're right in the middle of all the action, but you still get the small town feel. So you're able to have a little bit of both. And I think that a lot of service members will connect with being able to be outdoors and do things that allow them to feel like they felt while they were in the service.
So does your family live in the Jerome area?
We do live in Jerome, yeah. We live right by the high school.
Awesome. And why did you select Jerome?
It was cheaper than Twin Falls, for one.
There are some really cute houses over there that are newer and the
land. So we wanted to be able to live where we had a little bit of space from our neighbors, but still had a sense of community. And so Jerome kind of offered that, where you're able to still have like a close-knit community, but you also still had your space with your land. So you could have a barbecue outside and not be able to look to your left or right and really say hi to your neighbors and then be able to hear you. So that was kind of what we were looking for, was to be able to be close so we could have friends, but not so close that we couldn't have friends over.
Have a little party without, I totally get that for sure. We're in a kind of traditional neighborhood, and we really like our neighborhood, but sometimes we moved from the country, and so we had like an acre and there was a bunch of trees, and so we couldn't see our neighbors at all. And now we have like our blinds all the way because like you can see into their kitchen or something, and I'm like, I hate that, but I think that's just normal living in a neighborhood. But
living in the city,
but it's nice that Jerome has those lots that are a little bit bigger, and you have a little bit more space, and it feels like you have community, but still
a little bit of space. And they're starting to work on downtown Jerome, which I think is nice. So it makes it feel like it's more of a happening city. There's still things to do in Jerome without having to drive into Twin. But.
So I wanted to talk to you more about the group that you have on campus that's helping with veterans. Is there anything on the horizon that you guys do, or do you guys do events, or is it mostly like a resource where people can come get services, or how does it work? What's available?
So it's a little bit of both. So we just established a couple of semesters ago, and we just had our first annual golf scramble this past August, which is where we got most of our funding to be able to do the things that we plan to do all this year. So our first thing that we did since having our income was we started putting care packages together for service members that are overseas, to kind of connect them into bringing them back to Southern Idaho, so they can see that we put CSI stuff in there along with a bunch of other stuff that they would enjoy. And
so what's something that would, if someone wanted to put together a care package or donate something that would go in a care package, what's something that a service member would really like if they're serving overseas?
Things that they don't traditionally have overseas, which sounds so silly, is like beef jerky, gum.
It's those things you don't think of until you get there and you're like, I need a pack of gum.
Socks, dry powder for your feet because your feet. So just
being in boots all day.
Yeah, so there's things like that are so like normal, but not normal over there.
You can't just walk down to the corner store and get
it over there. Yeah, exactly. So you just kind of make them. You can do movies on thumb drives, things like that. That are happening over here that they can't really see over there. But
that's awesome. So what else? Sorry, I totally interrupted you. But I just got excited about the care packages.
The next thing is we have a family here in the Magic Valley that lost their home. So this is just, we have our budget separated. So we do some stuff with veterans, and then we try to connect our community with the veterans as well. So the next thing that we did was we have a family that lost their home, and they have 3 kids. Obviously it's winter, so they're probably cold. And so we're going to be taking those 3 kids shopping to get them winter clothes.
Oh, that's
great.
Great.
One of our things to connect the community. The next thing that we're doing is actually this Thursday. We're asking for donations for Christmas. So we bought 6 Christmas trees, and we plan to fill those Christmas trees with presents for 6 residents at the Canyons Retirement Center.
Oh, great.
And we're delivering those on Thursday.
Wonderful.
So we're constantly doing stuff, whether it be small or big, but we just try to connect in any way that we can. So not necessarily connecting just CSI veterans, but veterans all across the Magic Valley.
And around the world, it sounds like, too.
Yeah.
Like, that's really exciting. So if somebody wanted to get involved, how would they reach out if they were in the community or if they're a student at CSI? or just generally that wanted to support the efforts that you guys are doing?
So the students at CSI, they're all connected by our online portal Canvas, but we also have a Facebook page it's just called CSI Veterans and Supporters Association. You can connect that way, or you can always just email me or call me. I have all that information on there as well.
Perfect. We'll make sure to link all that in our show notes so that people can find that easily and get a hold of you.
Awesome.
So you've been here about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Favorite things?
Oh, I love the summer here.
Yeah.
I like
even coming from Texas?
Even coming from Texas because it's still warm. Like right now, my dad's like, it's 60 and it's sunny and it's gorgeous. And I'm like, oh, I miss it. It's so cold.
That's true. Like in the winter, I kind of lamented because I miss summer. I'm a summer person, but it feels so Christmassy. Like
it does.
I've been places when it's warm and I'm like, it doesn't feel like Christmas. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, but after December is over and it's still cold, I'm like, where is the summer? I miss the summer. I don't know. I just... we try to me and my friends get together at least like once every week, if not 2 weeks, to just do something outdoors or go out for margaritas. So I just feel like the summer people are just more apt to get outside versus during the winter, everybody's just like bundled up in their house. So I just feel like the summer is just
awesome
where it's at.
Yeah, I really love the summers here too because you can go down on the river. The river's so accessible here, and that's great. And I'm glad you've been getting into like paddleboarding and kayaking, and that's exciting.
I think I might buy a paddleboard. I think I've rented enough paddleboards that it's worth it to just buy a paddleboard at this point.
It's nice to test it out and make sure you love it. Now you're like, no, I definitely need my own.
I need my own. Yeah.
So any other sports that you haven't maybe got into yet, but that you've been thinking about? Not sure about skiing, sounds like.
I have never touched ski or snowboarding or anything on a mountain with snow. I've gone up on the ski lift when my parents came last Thanksgiving. They came up from Texas and we went up to Sun Valley and just kind of showed them around, but we didn't get adventurous enough to go skiing. We just took the lift up. So that was kind of cool, but it gave me a little welcoming to how cold it was going to be.
You're like, why are people out here?
No, I'm like, I need proper gear. I went up in jeans and a jacket. I'm like, it's way too cold.
It's just so funny because I know people who just like love the winter. They live for the winter here and they like can't wait. They're like count down the days until the ski hill opens, and then other people are like, when is it going to be summer?
I think once I get up there, because I just like to be outdoors, I think once I get up there and my daughter is able to ski and snowboard, I think that I'll love it just as much as summer. I think I'm just scared because I haven't tried it yet. Yeah,
I'm one of those people that like I am not very coordinated, and so snow sports are like super scary for me. But I have done snowshoeing, and snowshoeing requires no skill. You just put them on there, but then you get to experience how pretty it is, and you get a good workout. And then I feel like I'm embracing the winter a little bit without actually hurting myself. And so that's like that's good in between.
Good medium.
Yeah, so maybe start there and then you can get out there and find some cool winter trails. And there's some cool hot springs you can hike to.
I've definitely tried the hot springs. They're pretty nice.
Which ones have you been to?
We went camping up towards Featherville. I'm not sure what hot springs it's called, but up on the way over a bridge, there's like a little hot springs down at the bottom. I forget what it's called, but it's up near Featherville.
I think they call it the Featherville one. I don't know.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
I don't think it's even an official one. It's just you like go over the bridge and it's right down there. I guess everybody knows about it if you're from here. But
yeah. For those of us who aren't here.
Yeah. Drive over the bridge.
Yeah, and you'll find it. No, that's awesome. That's fantastic. That's one of the things I need to get out and do more of. I've been doing my research on all the hot springs.
Yeah, it's actually really nice.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to share about CSI, moving to the Magic Valley, or Jerome, or anything we missed?
I just think if you're new to the Magic Valley, it can be very easy to just want to stay inside and not get out. But I just recommend to everybody to just take advantage of what's here. It's not just through CSI that offers outdoor recreation activities. There's just so many things out in town, and all of the places out in town for veterans, they offer military discount and veteran discounts. So it's just so easy to take advantage of what's around.
That is really nice that so many of our businesses are really supportive and welcoming to veterans and encouraging that. So that's really great to see too. That reminds me of another question. As far as the curriculum and just kind of your experience already having a nursing background and then starting at CSI, how have you been feeling about if somebody was like new to nursing who didn't have a background in nursing and thought they wanted to get into a medical field? Do you think it's a good entry point for somebody who's just starting out and needing to figure out their way?
I definitely agree. CSI makes it to where you have to take certain classes before you can even apply to the nursing program. So it kind of dips your feet into the water to see whether the medical field is truly for you. But as far as not knowing anything and coming into the nursing program, people all over the country do it. And there's, more than half my class is that way. So I think if it's something that you truly enjoy and put the time and the work in, you'll do just fine.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I would be a terrible nurse. And so I just know that about myself. And so I'm always in awe of people who do that because it requires so much stamina and smarts and attention to detail. And it's just a really noble profession. So I'm glad you're staying in that and carrying on with that. And we'll have another wonderful nurse in the community. So
thanks.
That's really great. Thank you so much for being on Secrets Out Idaho and for being a part of our community and supporting our local veterans.
Awesome. Thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for listening to Secrets Out Idaho. You can follow Southern Idaho Economic Development on social media or visit southernidaho.org to learn more. Please take a moment to leave a rating and review and subscribe so you can be the first to hear more Secrets Out Idaho. Until next time.